Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an e-commerce business created in January 2009 in the equipment and technology niches. The average monthly revenue for the business is $8,554 and makes an average of $5,194 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are domain and all site content and files, additional domain used as a 301 redirect, trademark, social media accounts in the form of Facebook and Instagram, SOPs, supplier contracts and relationships, all media files, an email list with over 33,000 subscribers, and inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to active buyers. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 55793 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Joel. How are you doing today?
Hey man, doing good. Thanks, Nick.
Great. Well, I'm really looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So let's get started. First question is, can you tell us a little about your background in building or running online businesses?
Yeah, so I went to Cal State San Marcos there in California and obtained my business administration degree. And after that, I ventured out and started a mortgage real estate company in 2006. And it went great for about 2 years. In 2008, I got crushed by the market crash.
Yeah.
And after that, I went to work for some, regular 9-to-5 kind of things and just was trying to figure out what to do. And I just started thinking about the online arena and, kind of how to start a business online. So that's where everything started changing for me. And I came up with the idea to start the business just because I found that there was a product that I wanted that wasn't out there for my cell phone. And so I created it and it worked for me. And I showed some of my friends and they wanted one as well. And so I'm like, oh boy, what are we doing here? So I started just making them for like friends and family. And before you know it, I jumped onto the Etsy platform. I don't know if you're familiar with that platform, kind of, a maker's platform. And this was in 2009, somewhere around there. And I started putting the products on Etsy and that started blowing up. And then Christmas that year, they actually featured my shop with this one product that I invented. And I couldn't keep up with demand. And it went kind of bonkers from there. And I learned about, online fees and all of these things. And I had to figure out how to kind of construct everything. So I was learning, on the fly to answer your question after that kind of experience where Etsy was the babysitter in the beginning where I kind of learned how things worked. And so I just transitioned from that Etsy shop to, my own URL and started building that while I was kind of learning through Etsy's platform.
Yeah, that's really cool. A very common story is, starting on Amazon FBA and doing kind of the product research. There's a specific formula for doing product research. So it's really cool to hear stories of people saying, this didn't exist. I wanted to buy this, but it didn't exist. And therefore I created it. So that's super cool to hear.
Yeah. That was kind of how all the products, that are on the site, if you go to the site and check it out, that's how every product got there. Was I just wanted something and I couldn't find it. And maybe it was close. I could find something that was close, but it missed a feature or missed something that I really wanted. And so I'm like, hey, we could tweak this. We can make this better. And it works better for me. And that's just kind of how I am. I like things that work for me, and I know other people. So I kind of got on this whole bandwagon of, inventing and making and designing, and I just loved it. So yeah. It's been like 10 years of doing that.
And super exciting. You got that, not only your validation from yourself. I think it's common for people to like their own product, but then, for your friends to then provide that secondary form of validation, I think is probably the true validation right there, right?
Right. The honesty from the friends, they're going to tell you like it is, for sure. Especially family, right?
Yep. Or maybe the real validation is when you get that order and you wonder whose mom or dad that was or whose friend it was, and you realize that you don't personally know that person.
That's true. And that was kind of a challenge is figuring out pricing, because you don't know what to charge, It's like, what should I charge? How much did it cost? And kind of figuring out that whole thing took a couple of years to really dial that in.
Yep. So why did you decide to go towards Etsy as opposed to, we talked about Amazon FBA or I guess any other platform?
So the first product, it's on the website and I'm not going to reveal it, but the first product was really a handmade product. So it was more of something that was not a cookie cutter type of product, which I've got those too now on the website. But this product was more like a one of a kind product. And you can't really do that on Amazon. Amazon, everyone's going to be the same. You can't have diversity in each particular product. So on Etsy, I was taking individual photos for every single product because each one was different. And that model was really not sustainable, like long term. So I had to figure out how to kind of duplicate products. That's why I couldn't keep up with demand.
Yeah. So it sounds like just based on that the business is going really well. So why are you deciding to sell the business now?
So I've basically been doing this for 10 years and really have enjoyed it and, built a lot of products. And now it's kind of at a place where it's built out to having all these great products, but now it needs to be pushed into marketing and tapped into, Instagram and Facebook. And I really don't like doing that, to be honest. I'm more of a maker, designer, builder. I love that process. And I've never done any advertising for 10 years. It's just all word of mouth, all organic, returning customers, that kind of thing. And I think that someone needs to grab it who's a marketing guru or someone who can really tap into, how to really push ad revenue and do all that. And I'm like in a different season now. And I want to go, I'm doing some development in another country, actually. So I'm kind of opening a new chapter. And I'm going to start a development project with a friend in another country. That's kind of funny, getting back into like real estate, some cool projects that we're doing. So I'm totally transitioning kind of out of this space and doing something new and different. I want to keep myself growing, but I'm excited for whoever wants this business because the growth potential is really good. And it's just totally been on cruise control for like years. I haven't done anything. Just collecting money and only spending, a couple hours a week just kind of answering emails. And once in a blue moon, I'll throw out an email to the email list and like generate a bunch of sales. I'm not super like I used to be, right? Like all into it, motivated, like adding new products. Now it's like someone needs to just drive sales. And it's not fun for me.
Let's go back to something you said earlier about, so you don't do any advertising or marketing, which is amazing. So with the things that you did for growing the business, what would you say worked? What was the thing that worked?
So honestly, the main thing is really just making great products, because people, if you make high-end products, they're going to come back. They're going to tell their friends. It's going to be that type of thing. I had a couple really cool things that happened in the first 5 years of the business where the product made it into some hands of some big influencers and it made it on TV. And I got a lot of free advertising that I didn't even know. Friends were telling me, bro, I saw your product on the Tonight Show last night. I'm like,
whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, crazy stuff like that. And I'm like, what? So I had a couple years, about 6 years ago, where I was doing over $1 million in sales a year. And I was like, why are sales going crazy? And come to find out, it was just my product was getting into the right hands and they were just like pushing my product and I didn't even know it. Yeah,
That's
super
great.
crazy stuff. Yeah, so the market is more saturated with the product that I have. So someone's going to have to really get in there and start capitalizing on like my IG accounts and, doing some more emails there's so much to do, but it's just not my forte. It's not my skill set. I don't get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So I just know that that's where, the company can get back to over $1 million in sales pretty easily if they can tap into some of those sales and revenue streams.
Yep. Now, are you saying this from experience? Was there anything that you tried that just didn't work?
Yes. So I tried to expand the product line into other niches because the product is really in one cell phone manufacturer group. All the products I make is, for one basic brand that makes cell phones. And so that's how I started it. And there was a season when I'm like, man, I should tap into these other labels, these other brands of cell phones and try to get more capitalization in the marketplace. And that was a fail. Like I spread myself too thin. It cost a lot of money to get all these different phones because there's so many phones. If you go that route, there's literally like hundreds of phones. So I ended up spending a lot of money, didn't get a good result, didn't get a good return, and found that I needed to get back into my niche. So that was probably my costliest, biggest mistake I made in the business, was trying to go outside of my niche. And it hurt me financially, but I recovered and got, everything back to where it needed to be. But yeah, that was an expensive mistake to try that.
Yeah. Well, certainly a learning opportunity and one that you could probably carry with you to your other ventures. And certainly a buyer picking up this business could benefit from learning that as well. I think you mentioned that it's pretty much running itself. Can you describe the amount and the type of work you do on this business for maintenance?
Yeah. So maybe 2 to 3 hours a week, maybe like every other day, I'll jump on my email and, check my email for inquiries. I'll get random questions, maybe about a product, about something specific, or I'll get a question about shipping. Where's my package? Or I moved, little things. So I'll respond to those and kind of deal with those inquiries as they kind of come in every other day or so. It takes like 3 hours, maybe a week. And then I try to do twice a month, I try to do marketing emails to my list. So I'll do like a flash sale or, announce a new product, or like we're coming up with a new phone launch is coming up soon. So we'll do an email for that. So that's really it at this point. Everything else is, like just a well-oiled machine. It just operates.
Cool. So I guess if you were to summarize, what would the skills that a new owner would need to have in order to be successful with this? Is it mostly support and email, or what's involved?
Yeah, I would say that's like maybe the basic is just responding to emails, which is simple, but you kind of have to have an understanding and a knowledge, I think, of Shopify and the back end of Shopify, how to look up the orders, how to find, the customer, what their customer history is. And so knowing Shopify, I think, is going to be important to understand that, which is pretty easy to learn. Also, it would be good to have an understanding of our 3PL partner, their kind of back end, how to check an order, where it's at, or check a shipping, kind of see the status on there. Those two skill sets would be super important. And then additionally, if they're going to do email themselves, having understanding of the email platform that we use and how to maximize that. I really very basic when it comes to the emails. I don't do A and B testing. I don't even have it like on a drip system or like automated. I don't have any of that stuff going. So definitely someone can do better than me for sure. Guarantee on the emails. Yeah. But, it works. Like I send an email and, sales go great for like the next 3 days after that. So it definitely works. But like I said, like marketing is just, I don't get a lot of pleasure out of it. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get more money, but I don't know. I'm not super driven by money. It's more, the creative thing that gets me excited.
Yep, I get that. So I know that before the business was doing really well from influencer marketing that you weren't aware of. Where now does the majority of your traffic come from? Is it still from influencer marketing?
No, I don't think as much. I mean, like I said, that's definitely a great potential, especially with, IG being how it is and everything like that. But for now, it's all just repeat customers, just customers that have bought stuff and they need a phone upgrade. So they just come back and basically buy the same product that they've had for 3-4 years with that particular phone model. And so I would say it's maybe half returning customers. And the other half is just like organic searches. Someone goes on Google and searches a particular thing that they want and they see an image, they click on it, and then it leads back to us and they end up buying from us that way. So that's basically it.
Very cool. So I know we talked about one way you wouldn't try to grow the business based on just your prior experience with that. But if you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
Yeah, I'd probably get a marketing partner, someone who's, proven in that space, who can basically take over all the marketing and start driving sales. When I first started the company, I didn't have a lot of competition. So it was really easy to survive that way and really thrive. But now the market's more saturated in my space. And so I think I need someone, or whoever takes this over needs someone who's really savvy in that space of marketing and able to really start getting influencers and capitalize on like IG. I know you can set up a shop on IG. You can do a lot there, and I don't do anything. I've got all these followers, but I don't even post like new pictures very often.
Yeah.
It's just so there's definitely a lot of untapped potential, but I would hire a marketing agency to say, hey, look, take over all my accounts, take over my emails. Let's do some ad spend. Let's do some advertising and start really generating a lot of sales. That's what I would do.
Yep. And you kind of answered the next question, which was, what are major opportunities for growth? Sounds like you have a lot of untapped areas that you can really leverage for growth. So I guess on the flip side then, what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Yeah, I think I kind of mentioned it before, just not overextending like in, product lines and staying niche, staying kind of where, the money is, where the customers already are, because all the customers, they're all using one type of, phone brand, all of them. So that's really an area I would definitely stick with is add products, definitely add stuff, but add it into the same iPhone model, because then you can tap into all those customers that are already buying stuff for their particular phone. So I would say don't get crazy and start adding like my mistake was. But other than that, I mean, as long as you don't try to grow super crazy, I think it's manageable.
Okay, great. Well, those are the questions about the business itself. Just some last questions here. Yeah, so additional information. How much support are you willing to offer buyers?
I would be fine with 90 days, something like that. I don't think it's going to take that long, but I'm definitely willing to jump on a phone call, respond to emails, do, even a video. Skype would be fine. I don't think it's going to take that long, but I'm definitely willing if someone needs that much time to transfer and to help and provide whatever I could do. Absolutely. I want to see it succeed for sure. It's like my baby that's a teenager and is going, leaving high school and going to college right now. So it's like, I love my baby and my kids growing, but you got to get out the house. It's time for you to grow up.
Yeah, I often hear that about this being their baby, but I don't hear so often about it being a teenager. So yeah, the 10-year mark is definitely respectable.
Yeah, definitely a teenager's got to go to college.
Yep. So next question is, would you commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely.
Okay. And last question is, are you open to something like an earnout?
Probably not. I think I would just rather have just a payout and be one and done so I can move forward and not worry about it and kind of focus on my next venture.
Yep, makes sense. All right, and last two questions. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Probably the proven name, the brand. It's got a great name. We've got great sales history, done over 3 million in the last 10 years. Got great reviews. I think we've got over 3,000 positive reviews on our website now. So a lot of satisfied customers. We've got a great product. Our warranty is a 5-year warranty, which in the space that we have is unheard of. So I think I've built it right, which is, satisfying the clients, making sure they're super happy. I think that's one of the main things that a new owner needs to really focus on, is making sure, every client is super happy. And if there's an issue, addressing it, taking care of it, because you get one super happy person, they're going to tell other people and it's going to generate sales, but you get like a person that's mad and gets a bad response, they're going to tell everybody too, but it's going to be negative, and they're going to post bad reviews and social media. It's just not a good thing. So I think our customers are super happy, and I've kept them happy. Sometimes it's been tough, sending them products when you just don't know if it's their dog really ate it or, what really happened. But you got to just give people the benefit of the doubt and just believe that they're telling the truth. And sometimes you take a loss, but I think in the end it's worth it.
Nice. Yeah, words of wisdom. All right. Well, I feel like we talked a lot about the business, but is there anything that you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during the interview?
No, I'm just hopeful that the right person will get this and be super stoked on it. It's been a big blessing for me, and it's been a great learning experience. And I just want to make sure whoever does buy it, that they know that I'm totally willing to help and want to see them grow and succeed and kind of bring it to the next level. I feel like I've brought it to a certain place, and I think someone with the right skill set is going to bring it to the next level. It's just going to blow up. So it's exciting. I'm excited for who's going to be the person to take it to the next level. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Well, that's the perfect closer. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Joel, thank you very much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And I do hope your business is purchased in the near future by the right buyer.
Right on. Thanks, Nick, for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 55793. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click on the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.